Welcome to Disney with the Ducks. My name is Lonnie G, and this is episode 31, the one that we talk about D23. I am joined tonight by a cast of ducks from around these great United States. So let's introduce them, right? Carly, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. Thank you. Jodie B, how are you today?
I'm awesome, thank you. How are you this evening?
I'm good. Mean Gene, woo!
Oh, good.
Style and profile as always, you know.
Kevin, how are you doing tonight, man?
Doing good. Just in the middle of my training for Dopey, and glad to have a short week and ready to kick off a longer run week this week. So,
I think you speak for yourself on that one. John, how you doing today?
I'm living the dream, Lonnie.
Outstanding.
You know it.
So glad you guys could join us tonight, guys. We just had to start recording because we were having so much fun. We wanted you guys to join along. So as I said, we're going to talk about D23, and just so you guys can kind of get a preview of what we're going to talk about, thought you guys would like to hear our initial thoughts on a scale of 1 to 10. What do we think about D23 and their announcements this past week? Kevin, 1 to 10, 10 being you loved it. What would you give this D23?
So I'll have to preface this with that. I have looked through the list and still learning more about what they've announced at the different parks around the world, kind of thing. But as far as the movies, and you know me, Star Wars, I'm pretty pumped about it. For the movie side, I'd probably say 7. For the park side, from what from the movie and park side. From the park side, I'm thinking it may be around a 4 or 3. So,
okay. Good sliding scale. Jodie, 1 to 10. What do you think about D23?
Going with a solid 4, even though I have hope for Josh DeMero for making everything better, but I'm still a solid 4.
Good deal. Carly, 1 to 10. D23.
It was full of ups and downs, I will tell you. One moment I was like, oh, it's going to be a 10. And then I believe at the end, I settled into a nice maybe 3.5.
Okay. Good deal. Mean Gene.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this has been on my calendar for, I was going to say weeks, but probably months. And so,
for sure.
You know, when it comes to like Kevin said, the movies, the TV shows, really excited to hear what I heard and see what I saw. So I would give it 7, 8, probably. I'm very, very excited for those things. As far as the park stuff, 5. I mean, there's some good stuff, but there was nothing I was really anticipating. So I'm not terribly disappointed. It's, kind of meh, whatever.
Well,
you all right?
Hey, I mean, you waited for it for months, so glad at least the party was good for you.
Yeah, for sure.
John, I don't know if you waited for months like Gene, but what do you think?
I was excited about it. I was hoping that there was going to be a lot coming to Disney World in Orlando, where we all usually go. So I would say with the parks, it started off really good with Happily Ever After. And we'll talk about, I guess, this in the show, but just trying to justify my response here. It started off high, and then it just kept going low. And every once in a while, they'd give you a little hope. I'm going to go with a negative 4.5. And on the movie side, though, I'm excited about the shows and movies, so I'm going to go with an 8 for that because I'm pretty pumped about some of the stuff they have coming out.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, look, hard but fair. Nothing wrong with that.
Lonnie.
The movies, I'll give it about an 8. I tell you one thing I think is essential is you have to have Disney Plus moving forward. You just have to. So many great things on there.
I mean, who doesn't?
You know what? Everybody on the screen has it, but I guess we have to make sure we keep it. Parks wise, if you're looking at just Walt Disney World, I'm going to give it a 2. We'll talk about that. Overall, though, with all the parks, I'll give it a 6. But our home park, I would give it a 2. So, but thanks, guys, for sharing that. And I'm sure our listeners want to know what led to these scores. So we're going to start off in Magic Kingdom, right? And we're going to talk about the announcements in Magic Kingdom. The biggest one, what everyone's been waiting for the longest, right? I think they even made kind of fun of themselves, saying we've been talking about Tron for a long time, and we've been talking about it and talking about it. Apparently, we're going to continue to talking about it because it's not going to open until spring 2023. We're all hoping for Marathon Weekend we can jump on it, but
So
apparently not.
weren't they just testing it like in the last week?
Yeah.
Weren't they running like live tests?
Yeah, they showed Josh tomorrow riding in Tron at Magic Kingdom, but you know.
So you're going to let a senior level executive ride the ride, but it's not safe enough to let the general public ride it. Come on. It's got to be at least close.
And he rode it twice. Remember, he said one more time. So he gave the old keep it going. We came and get on it for one time of going.
And you know what? Having been on the one in Shanghai, like I am so excited about Tron opening because it is an amazing ride, and they should have had it open by the end of the year this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm bummed about that too.
Yes. I just I guess I didn't look to see how long Guardians of the Galaxy actually took to build and open, but I feel like Tron and Guardians started construction around the same time. And Tron, like, what are they doing?
And it's a copy and paste basically from what they have in another park.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's not like they're redoing a ton of design or anything like that. I mean, I'm sure there's some, some items they have to do testing wise and everything else, but it's supposed to be pretty much the same ride. So you'd think they could get it built faster.
Yes.
Complete disappointment. My only thought process was perhaps it's a staffing issue that they just can't get enough employees to staff and run the ride safely.
I volunteer as tribute.
Yeah.
Take me.
I mean, that's a complete wild guess because you all have witnessed what I've witnessed, which is clearly it's up and running and people are on it and everything's ready to go. I mean, I thought it would be before the holidays. I thought they would have it, for the holiday rush and kind of have it be like, oh, the 50th anniversary is still going on.
Yeah,
before October. Let's give you something else for the 50th anniversary. So I was shocked that it's not. I mean, that's crazy town.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Jodie, you make a real good point, especially with the 50th anniversary. This is going to be in the spring. You can always say, and they already announced that it's going through until March, right? The 50th anniversary. Maybe they're trying to use it to get people in the parks next year. Maybe. The biggest question is if it's not opening until the spring of 2023, what does that mean for the railway?
No,
or the train?
Yeah, they want
it's 6 months. Yeah.
That'll be 2029.
They have to demobilize all of that construction equipment, and that's a big deal. I mean, in that area, that's going to be take a while, months.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's
the train,
maybe end of year.
Yeah.
Testing the train, but hey, there's no track there on the Tron, so it's just kind of, I guess, still in limbo. That's just that kind of stuff on that one. But there is some good news for some of you guys, and John kind of mentioned it earlier. So, John, there's a show that's coming back. What's your thoughts?
I am so excited about Happily Ever After coming back. I thought you guys were messing with me when the text started lighting up with talking about Happily Ever After, and I was so excited to see that because it's my favorite show I've ever seen, like fireworks wise and stuff. So I'm ready for it.
But again, it's not coming out until what, next year, right?
Really?
Yeah.
They got to get everything ready. They got to get all the fireworks. They got to train everybody. Everybody's got to practice the songs. They got to recruit the right actors. I mean, it's a big deal. It's a production. Carly, I know you don't know that much about Disney, but it's a big
recorded,
deal.
Man. It's already done.
Just project it
not been that long ago.
Blow some stuff
only
up
been
in
a year and a half.
May I ask a follow-up question for clarity? Are they? I thought I read that the anthem was coming back. Does that mean the whole show is coming back, or just that song?
Yeah.
No, I think the show is. I think they said anthem because if you watched it on the live stream, they started out with the Happily Ever song with Jordan Fisher and whoever the woman is.
Angie Kielauer?
Sure, I don't know. She was trying real hard to make it very dramatic, and I think she just needs to realize it's a beautiful song on its own. But I think they said anthem because they started out with that song, and so he was, trying to make a big deal of tying that into his announcement. But
so we're under the impression that Enchantment as a package full production is going away, and Happily Ever After as a full package is coming back. Is that how you all interpret that news?
That's how I understood it, yeah. But
Okay.
I do think they may make some tweaks to it, but I don't think it's going to be a major overhaul or anything, or they wouldn't have, said that because of how people have kind of complained, I guess, about Enchanted and wanting Happily Ever After back. So I do wonder, though, like, was this their plan all along, or is this just, hey, everyone's complaining about it, let's bring it back? I guess either way, it doesn't matter, but I'd prefer to think it was their plan all along, but yeah. Probably not.
It's very interesting. Very interesting. I'll tell you that. It's well, let's keep going, right? So another announcement, the Hatbox Ghost is coming back to Haunted Mansion. Just like Tron, though, he's not coming back until 2023. I guess he had some previous engagements. Maybe he went with some people. He haunted somebody else. I don't know. But 2023, he's coming back. What do you guys think about that?
I have such a huge question. Is he the 1,000th happy haunt? Like, is it full now? We're adding a ghost. I feel like
maybe they're firing one.
Yeah,
well,
they've ranked them all.
I'm pretty sure somebody retired or it got downsized for him to come.
Okay, well, I mean, that's fair. But I'm also, I just feel like, yes, the Hatbox Ghost is very cool, but I guess I have to wait and see how it's implemented, because I'm just envisioning that they're just going to like throw him into the attic, like opposite of what's her name? Constantine. What's her name? That's not right. Is that
Madame
right?
Leota? Madame Leota?
No. In the attic, the angry bride with the hatchet.
Oh, yeah.
Riley's gonna like cuss at me right now because I can't remember her name, but Constance. I just feel like they're gonna throw him straight across from Constance, and it's just gonna be like a pathetic cameo appearance.
Hello, I'm here.
Check the box.
Don't forget about me in my box.
I know. I don't know. I just felt like there were so many cool things that they could have said. And yes, Hatbox Ghost, great, but I mean, that's one of the things we're going to sit here and talk about, and it's only like a very minor change. I don't know.
What do you think, Gene? I would love to hear what you think about the Hatbox Ghost coming back to Haunted Mansion.
Another one of those things that for years I've thought, first of all, what happened to the Hatbox Ghost? And secondly, when is the Hatbox Ghost going to come back? And it's almost like Disney's been reading my diary. You know what I'm saying?
They may be. They may be.
Well, I mean, they didn't announce the South American Pavilion, so I was sad, but otherwise they got your diary.
Dirty trick.
We cannot confirm that the South American Pavilion was announced. However, we're led to believe because Gene ate there for his last trip.
It's already there.
It was a test.
Up and running.
That's such a big misunderstanding.
I'm gonna be honest. I love Haunted Mansion. I told it like on our last, podcast. I said it's one of my favorite rides. Probably my favorite in Magic Kingdom. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with it. However, it is. I was expecting a lot more out of Magic Kingdom. I was hoping for Tron to open earlier. It just was a little disappointing. And guys, I think we're really pretty positive about Disney. I mean, Disney has to do something really, really to get us. But I think on this one, it's just, and it could be that maybe all the announcements at the other parks kind of made us feel like we're kind of left out. Nobody likes to feel left out. So we'll see. But let's go over to Epcot. Why don't we? We already kind of touched it for a second. Let's go back and finish touching it.
Lonnie,
with Kevin's favorite person will be coming to Epcot, in the end of 2023, and that's Figment.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that. I think that'll be great. It's just I was hoping for maybe a refurb of the ride itself, maybe bring Dreamfinder back. I mean,
Yes.
why couldn't they do that?
Yes.
It would be so nice. And why does it have to be that long? Like almost 2 years? It's crazy. It's like, don't they have? They have to have Figment somewhere. I mean,
They can borrow Joe's Figment puppet that he made. Can't they use
There
that?
you go.
Use for the. I mean, I'm sure Joe would sell it to him.
yeah, just get Joe to stand out there with yeah. I mean, there you go. You got it right there. Done. 1 week.
And literally, they said they're working on it. Really, guys? I mean, are you working on it? I mean, look, we had Barney around forever running around. Can we put somebody in a Figment outfit? Okay, and that's behind the magic. So if any kids are listening, I apologize. Figment is real. But, I mean, come on. Everything was like 2023. And it's kind of, and then this one said the end of 2023. So,
that's one that I've always wanted to see as a character stop on one of the races. And we did have sort of one this past year over by Contemporary, but it was just I don't know.
Statue.
It was just like a plaster painted something.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that great, but it was
He's
something.
Orange Bird.
Yeah.
Well,
same
at least you
thing.
didn't get a mouthful of Figment. You got an Orange Bird, so.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Orange Bird sprayed us when we went by there.
Yes, he did. You run by with your mouth open, it's all over. You're getting some orange in there. So yeah. So you're right, Kevin. We had Figment in as we ran through the Contemporary, about a Contemporary, but just a statue. It'd be great to see him along the course. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to wait a while to see him. And with waiting for Figment, apparently we're gonna have to wait on Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, because that's gonna open in late 2023 as well. Just like Figment. So what do you guys think about Journey of Water?
I don't know that I have a good concept of what is happening with that. I mean, I've seen the artwork of Tafiti kind of sitting over top of some water, and that's it. But I mean, is this just a garden? Is
it a
this
splash pad?
I don't know what it is. And I think that Disney has left it so vague. And so even if it's something amazing, because they haven't hyped it up very well, nobody cares.
That's kind of the boat I'm in, Carly. I don't know
really
anything about it, and I'm like, if it comes, I'll go see it, I guess. But it's not like where they started talking about Figment. I thought they were going to reimagine the ride, like Kevin, you said you were looking for, and nothing, right? I mean, we get a character, cool, but and then the Moana thing, I'm like, where is the new pavilion? Where is the Mary Poppins ride coming back or something? I don't know.
The Moana thing to me just sounds like a park. And maybe I don't understand it like you were saying, but it just sounds like, oh, what a nice stroll through a park and I can look at some water. And I don't know how I love the education portion of Epcot, but a stroll through a park with water is not what I'm paying $110 a day to go do in a park. So in a theme park, I should say. So I don't know. Maybe there's something that I'm not understanding about it.
Well, so if we're confused about it, and I mean, we all love Disney, right? Think about like the normal guest who's going to be going, who doesn't listen to 20 different podcasts and stuff. They have no idea what the heck is happening with that ride.
Right.
They're going to go there and think that it's Moana log flume and that they get to go riding down some major roll hill or something.
I wish it was. That would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
Amazing.
There's no log start listening to our podcast.
There's no log flume ride anywhere in the park, right?
No, the closest we would have is Splash.
Splash
Mountain.
I swear when I was little, there was one in Walt Disney World. Maybe I'm imagining it. Maybe I'm totally getting my parks mixed up, but I feel like there used to be, but I don't know. Maybe I'm confused. So,
well, I think it would be a nice addition. It'd be way more exciting than, hey, here's Figment and some water in a fountain.
Pigment with a water gun.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be worth seeing.
That would be.
Where he
But,
sprays like multicolored water on everybody. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Ooh, that would be nice. And they could tie it in with like the flags of the countries or something and shoot red out for China and I don't
There you
know,
go.
other colors. But the other thing though at Epcot that's coming is they're getting rid of Harmonious, right? And bringing in a new show. And
That bar,
we saw some of the discussion on like I think it was the Lizard chat group or something earlier, but they put so much time and money into those what do you call them, Carly? Octopus arms?
barges, yes, and the
yeah,
octopus
the barges.
arms.
That kind of stuff is so expensive to build.
Yeah.
I mean, so expensive.
So I can't see them just completely scrapping that and being like, no, here, we're just getting rid of that. Let's do something completely different. So I think all the people that are excited about the barges going away are probably not going to be happy with the end result, but who knows?
Right. And I didn't think as a show, music, looking at the laser lights and the water and the 8 million other things that they wanted to throw into that show, I don't think Bargemonious or Harmonious is a bad show. I think you have to be positioned perfectly in front of the giant circular whatever water wheel to see it very well, but the music is good. I love how they incorporated the different countries and the different languages in it. I thought that was very well done. What I don't like are the freaking giant barges. So until you sink that sucker, I'm mad. I do not like that thing. It obstructs every view. Like I said, you have to be right in front of it or right behind it to see. Otherwise, you're just seeing these mechanical arms moving and some water shooting everywhere. It's underwhelming.
I think my disappointment with it is having watched World of Color out at Disneyland, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal and such a great show. And the water function in that show is so well done that it was such a disappointment that what they did at Epcot, I couldn't even understand how you could do it so well in Disneyland and fail so miserably in Epcot. But I don't know. We'll see what. Again, though, it's like we're all on the surface of gray. Nothing is. There's no pizzazz. There's no excitement. There's no big wow. It's all kind of just this gray announcement that we got.
Well, and it was the same way with back to Magic Kingdom real quick. I mean, how they talked about what's behind Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And I started getting super excited because they're showing these awesome pictures. And all of a sudden it's, oh, well, this is blue sky. We're not implementing anything right now. We don't even have an idea, really. We just have these rough concepts. Like, okay, come on. Give us something major in one of the parks. And then, you get to Epcot and obviously they're changing the show and that type of thing, but they're adding a character stop. So yeah, a little disappointing. Well, a lot disappointing, I should say.
Well, so I'm just going to tell you, y'all are being very, very, very negative tonight. I'm just saying.
I am, yes.
Yeah. No, Gene, we are, because my problem with it honestly is
I understand.
They were like teasing it as something awesome coming, and then it was nothing. The Figment thing, right? I was like, I started yelling for my wife. And she's like, what in the heck is going on? I'm like, they're bringing the Figment back and they're doing Figment stuff. And it turns out to be a character stop. I'm like, dude, come on. You guys got me so pumped up for that.
Yes.
So, yeah. So that's why I'm disappointed. I think if it would have just been the announcements and it would have been over, but the build up, and like I said, showing the pictures of stuff that they said was the conceptual artwork, but then they're like, well, it's not the conceptual artwork for those two other lands.
The blue sky things.
They call them what if ideas. Is what
I mean, that's like a couple of Imagineers sitting around having a few drinks and being like, this would be a great idea. And they are great ideas.
I absolutely love the idea of beyond Big Thunder Mountain. Like the second he said that, it was like hashtag beyond Big Thunder Mountain. That could take off. That could have been the huge news that everybody was waiting for. And
Yeah.
even if they would have just given us a third of what they talked about beyond Big Thunder Mountain, they talked about Coco and that land. They talked about a land around Encanto, and they talked about a villains themed area.
Mhm.
And even if they would just give us in the next, few years, yes, we're doing the Coco area, I think everybody would have been thrilled.
Mhm.
But
Yeah. And this comes after they talked about adding Frozen to like 3 of the international parks. Where is it? Paris, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. I can't remember which ones, but I know Paris was one of them. And they're adding a
Mhm.
Frozen land, which would be amazing. So for them to get a whole new land at all these other parks, and then Florida kind of left out of all that, it was just a little bit upsetting, I guess.
The way that I felt about it is you go to a really nice dinner and you have a fantastic appetizer and you have a great server and you have a wonderful main course, and then your dessert comes and it's not good and it just fell flat. And so
and had a hair in it.
and had a hair in it.
It's
So
a-
you
it's a
just
hostess
you were all excited, like, oh, my appetizer's great, the ambiance is great, my server is great, everything's fantastic, my main course is great, and now I've been served dessert and it is flavorless. And that's what I felt like. That's the best way that I can describe it. It felt like a flavorless dessert with not anything to be excited about. And that's not the way you want to end a meal. You want to end the meal or end an experience on a high note, not a, oh, well, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It was just a little disappointing, especially the way they built it up. And to come to an event like D23 and tease something like that and just be like, oh, well, no, it's just a what if scenario. That's what really bugged me, because that event, you expect things to come in and they're more fleshed out, right? Have an actual idea that's got plans in place,
Mm-hmm.
not just, oh, we could do this super awesome thing, but we're not.
It bewilders me that it's like that they're just throwing this, well, maybe this, or what if. That's just kind of crazy. Nothing, not being even a definite thing.
Yeah, it was strange. So what's the next park then? I guess the Animal Kingdom discussion is probably going to take a long time because there was so much announced for that park.
I mean, I was still going to talk about Epcot though.
Oh,
because
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go
We've
ahead.
talked about Moana, we've talked about Figment, and we've talked about the change in Bargemonious, but they never even mentioned the new Epcot entrance statue that they're going to have, and I love it. Jeff has lovingly dubbed it Squatty Walty, which I have a problem with. It does kind of look like he's sitting on a toilet, but it reminds me of like Walt sitting on a bench contemplating life, and it's just a very pretty statue. So again, it wasn't a major announcement. It's not like a new pavilion. It's not, Pixar hotel or anything that Disneyland got, but I do think that was actually a nice, very sentimental Walt Disney thing to add to the front of Epcot.
I think it's good too, because I love the partner statue. It's one of my favorite parts of Magic Kingdom.
Mhm.
So yeah, to get something similar in Epcot is really cool.
Yes.
I agree.
Great. So now we can move to Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, let's move on to Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, we're done.
Okay, yeah.
None to Animal Kingdom.
And that was everything announced for Animal Kingdom. I was really bummed because, like we talked about in the pre-show thing, with Dino Land really not seemingly having any type of plan. You thought that they were going to bring something like that, and when they started talking about Zootopia, I'm like, this is perfect. Let's get that Zootopia land built. And then it's the same thing, right? Like a what if scenario of we don't really have a plan in place for it, but we think it would be a good fit. Like, yes, it would. Build it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the crazy thing about it is, I don't know why they just didn't leave Triceratops Spin. They took it down, and now you have that dirt pit right there. They could have did something else or just leave it. I mean, it wasn't harming anybody. I mean, I wouldn't get on it because it makes you dizzy, but I mean, at least you had something there.
Right.
So I don't know, and I was hoping for a Wakanda land back there or something like that. I know you can't have certain Marvel characters. However, Black Panther was released after a certain time. I think how it's made is you can't be on that original set of movies, but since he was added on later, technically you should be able to use a Wakanda land there. And they didn't even dream that on the Blue Sky thing. They just said, yeah, we're gonna, and the Zootopia thing, I'm okay with that. They already got it in Shanghai. Take the same plans, roll over here, and build that puppy. That's all you got to do. Yeah, that's all you got to do. Like you say, John, it's copy and paste. It's the same thing. In fact, fly the same crew over that built it because they already built it over there, and be like, hey guys, boom, build the same thing here, and that's it.
Groundhog Day. Start building.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
What's your thought process? And
I may have been frozen through that whole diatribe, so I'm sorry if I was.
No, you're fine.
But
You weren't, Lonnie. No, we heard you. It was good. Jodie had something though.
No, I was just saying, what's your thought process in general as to why Animal Kingdom didn't get any love at all? I mean, it's, amongst the community, it's already talked about as being a half-day park, right? There's not a lot of rides or attractions there. There's some shows, but there's not a lot happening there. So why do you think that the whole Dino Land area didn't get any attention?
Honestly, I think when Joe Rody retired, a lot of his vision went with him. And I don't know that they have somebody strong enough with the same skill set to step into that role and take charge and get it done.
I agree. You got to have a good leader that has a good vision. If you don't have that, you're just floundering.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
the sad
really
part
thought
is,
he
I
was
mean,
gonna. Go ahead.
I
I
was gonna
thought he was
say-
going to announce coming out of retirement. I was so excited. I was waiting for it.
Yeah. And that's what stinks too, is like, so you go from probably the best person for that job to not having anybody to backfill him. I mean, what was their long-term plan? Because they had to have known that he's not a young guy. I mean, he's not, 90 years old, but he was getting towards the end probably of his everyday working career. So you would think they would have been developing somebody or a team of people to take over. So yeah, it was kind of disappointing.
Yeah, but really, he left and retired there, but he went to Virgin. So he's still working. So they should have just paid him more and say, hey, why don't you just finish this project? We'll take care of you. We'll buy you another earring, whatever you have to do for him. But just keep him there a little bit longer to finish it. I mean, literally, I just don't get it. I really like Animal Kingdom, so it drives me that they didn't do a little bit more to it. But I digress.
Right. So are we moving on out of the parks? Because I don't think we have anything else park related.
Well, there's something for Hollywood Studios, right? They didn't announce anything there.
No. We did get some really awesome news about cruises, the new cruise ship coming out. Jodie, I assume you're very excited about that. The Treasure.
I don't know. I've heard some mixed reviews about the Wish, the new ship. One of my biggest concerns is they took away the running path on deck 4, which we utilize a lot. So I'll be curious what the ship, if it's going to look just like the Wish, or if they are taking some of the feedback they've got from that and make change. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I just know the name so far. I didn't say anything else about it. So
yeah.
And then the other cruise news.
Yeah,
oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying, like Jodie, I'm literally the same way. I'm kind of like, I don't know. You hear bad things about the Wish, the elevator banks, that they took away the middle ones, which is crazy, right? So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, they're on the Fantasy, on the Dream. There are 3 elevator banks and 3 different sets of stairs: forward, midship, and aft. On the Wish, they've reduced that down to 2, and I don't understand why. And so I don't know. We'll see about the new ship.
And then new itineraries. I know that They had mentioned that they were bringing Disney Vacations to Australia and New Zealand so that families in those areas can have Disney cruises. And then they are repositioning the Disney Wonder for South Pacific voyages. So Fiji, Samoa, and those types of things. But I feel like those are going to be high-priced dollar cruises. So I don't know if that's going to impact me much, but maybe you guys.
No, and that's what I was thinking too. Like
Why not?
Disney Cruise Line sounds awesome, but when you have 5 kids, it's not. You have to be rich to be able to do that with 2 rooms and everything else going on. So when we price that out, we're like, we could go on like weeks in Europe or go for 4 nights on a Disney cruise. So maybe when the kids move out and we're retired, I'll start doing it. But for now, I don't think it affects me much, sadly.
All right, but I do think there is one thing that will affect most of you. And this was not Florida Disney news, but California Disneyland is getting Run Disney experiences back starting in 2024. So what do you guys think about that one?
I was pretty excited about that. That's something I've always wanted to do and never had a chance to. Didn't get into running until it was too late. So I've always heard great things about their races. I'm assuming that I know they had some issues with the city of Anaheim on permits and getting the course mapped out and all that kind of thing. And I'm hoping that's taken care of, or they figured out a plan for it. I know that it can be difficult to work with the city on securing race courses without disrupting the normal flow of traffic and things like that. But
Well, Gene, I know you're so disappointed about the South America Pavilion, but how do you feel about Run Disney races coming to California? Is that something you can envision yourself participating?
100%. Yeah, probably not Dopey if they did Dopey in California, but something else. I'm not. This might be my last Dopey. I don't know. I said that last year too. Who knows? But maybe some shorter races. I would love to go to the West Coast, experience that race. That's 78 degrees all year round, that, low humidity, just the California spirit. I'll do some California dreaming out there running, it'd be great. I really do. All jokes aside, I mean, Lonnie went one time and invited me and I just was unable to go, but I really would like to go.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I really love that area. I love Los Angeles and San Diego. And I miss the boat kind of on Disney races out there, but I'm with you guys. I want to do it really bad. I don't think I would do a marathon out there because I want to enjoy my time out on the West Coast more. But I mean, if they had a 10 miler or a half, I think that would be perfect.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And,
Yeah. Well,
and I've never been out there. I've always wanted to go to Disneyland, and that would give me a chance to do that. So
everyone's teasing that you need to get in the queue now to try to secure your registration for 2024. Is that what it's
2024?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what time of year they're going to do it. Are they going to do it at the same time as the races in Disney World and try to kind of mediate crowd levels that way, where you would have to pick one or the other? Or are they going to try to pick different times of year? I'm curious.
Yeah, that is interesting because and Disney knows all those races are going to sell out there and they'll sell out in Florida. So it's not like they have to worry about a time of year for demand because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So they
can
have one month and they'd sell them out.
I think if they tried to put it at the same weekend, it would throw off. A lot of people want a chance to do the coast to coast again because that was a big deal back then, and to do one race on one coast and one another in the same year and get that extra medal, I know that would draw a lot of people. Not that it wouldn't anyway, but
let's see. That's the one thing that I'm giving a 10. That's one thing I'm excited about.
I was most excited
to Run
about
Disney.
By far, that was the thing that not even saying that I will be able to participate, but that was the one thing that I was totally pumped up about.
And they didn't even have to give any details or anything.
No, just races are coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right, Jody. That and the happily ever after thing were a 10 for me, and everything else.
I really thought you guys were teasing me about that. Honest to goodness, because
Yeah.
I was like, you guys are kidding, right?
Right, so I think I understand maybe why we're so bitter right now with Disney. As Jean says, we're very negative. I think you have to look at what they're getting in Disneyland. So we haven't mentioned it because I mean, you guys have all said it's old news, but they're getting Tiana's Bayou Adventure in the New Orleans area, which fits so nicely. And yes, Walt Disney World is getting it too, but yeah, it's going to be a while. But they're also getting Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad with some updated changes to make it fit better into their particular Mickey's Toontown area. But they're putting in Mickey's Toontown. And that one I was so angry about because we took out Walt Disney World's Magic Kingdom Toontown and we replaced it with New Fantasyland, and we kind of moved Dumbo out there and took over that spot. And now I feel like Disneyland is getting what we took away. So thoughts on Toontown?
I think it sounds really cool, and I love Mickey's Runaway Railway. So getting that and then having the theming of the Toontown around it, it should be really cool.
It's going to be awesome. Yeah.
Be cute for kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I thought that too, but then whenever they were showing it on the live stream, they started showing that it's going to have some historic Mickey things in it. So maybe some of the archive collection is going to be housed there so you can see Mickey through the years. And I just think it's going to be, you know, for anybody that they're a Mickey Mouse stan, I think that's going to be the place to be.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about Downtown Disney is expanding huge. And
Which
they're adding.
I don't understand where or how, because it's when you go to Disneyland, like you are right up against the other, like Anaheim. You're right there, like you're right in the community. So Downtown Disney seemed crowded. Like seemed like every ounce of space was already used. So I don't understand where or how maybe they're buying some property from some other entity that already exists. I don't know. I didn't dig into that, but I just can't figure out how or where it's going to fit in.
Yeah, they're getting a Chinese restaurant, and then it also says more than a dozen shopping and dining locations opening in the future.
That's a big development. That's probably a 50-acre development, something that big.
Yeah.
Unless they build up. That's my only thought is, can they, I don't know.
Or if they're switching out things that are there for new experiences.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would count that as.
Walk through. Has anyone been to Disneyland besides me?
I have.
No.
You have. So yeah, you walk through like their downtown Disney to get to their parks. Like, and it's not a strenuous long walk. You know, it's not like our Disney Springs where you get lost without your GPS turned on. You don't know if you're on the east side or the west side or some other side. So
would you say, you've been to Universal and their City Walk? Would you say Downtown Disney is more similar to City Walk size? Or just in between?
City Walk is just tall. Taller. It's scaled higher. Where Downtown Disney's everything is lower. I don't know. Maybe. What do you think, John?
I don't know. I mean, I think like Downtown Disney, it's like one block, right? Yeah. And then that's it. And it's stores on both sides. And so I don't know. I mean, I think Universal's might even be bigger.
Yeah, I think Universal's is bigger.
Yeah. So.
But that's great that they're getting more stuff. That's exciting, you know?
Well, and just wait, it continues because they're getting the Pixar Place Hotel, which is their Paradise Pier Hotel reimagined. Josh D'Amaro said it will be a place where you'll feel as though you stepped into a Pixar art gallery featuring new interpretations of favorite Pixar pals. So I want a Pixar one.
Yeah, and this was what I was super excited about this because we're trying to go to Disneyland either next summer or the following summer, depending on health and everything else. But I told Katie, I'm like, instead of getting a VRBO or Airbnb, we need to stay there at least 2 nights. And she's like, yeah, but okay, they're gonna have a room for us. because we have all the kids. But I mean, I want to be in that environment and like see
Yeah,
pictures of Buzz
bubble.
on the wall, and I don't know. It just sounds like it's going to be amazing.
So that's the hotel that we stayed at the Paradise Pier when we went out there, because it was, I'm going to be really honest, it was the cheapest. So that's why we chose it, because I wanted to still be in the Disney bubble, but the other two were just out of our price range. And it was a perfectly fine hotel. I think it used to be like a Best Western or something, and that Disney took it over. And I don't feel like it was very Disney-ish. So I'm glad that they're coming up with something to make it feel a little more in tune with Disney, because it just felt like a hotel that they took over and kind of like, oh yeah, it's ours now.
Yeah. Slap the Disney label on it, and that was pretty much it. Yeah. More reimagining, and this one is probably where I am the most jealous, is Pacific Wharf at California Adventure Park is going to be San Francisco from Big Hero 6. And it's going to have shopping. It's going to have places to eat. You're going to be able to meet Baymax there. It's just going to have the whole theme. The concept art looked amazing. It had the San Francisco, like, bridge arches kind of looking thing. It just looked so fun. And I love Baymax. And yes, he's at Epcot occasionally, but just having a whole land.
And at Epcot, he's just kind of shoved in that one character meet place, and it's rough when he's there. So this is my son loves Big Hero 6, so I'm really excited about this one.
We love Big Hero 6 because having a family with boy and girl, it's like one of those gender neutral shows where both kids in our household liked. So we are big Hero 6 people. That's something that makes me excited to go back to Disneyland, like to see how that, because the Pacific Wharf area was cool. It wasn't a bad area, but I don't remember. I felt like that's something that we just walked through on our last trip. We didn't spend time there. Like this with Baymax and all that, that would make us want to go there.
For sure. And then, John, I feel like this piece is probably your most excitable piece, is the Avengers Campus is going to be a multiverse new attraction, a brand new story, and it's going to include who, John?
Oh, King Thanos looks amazing. I am so pumped about this. And it's going to be an actual attraction too, which makes it even better, because it's not just like a character meet and greet. They're building another attraction in Avengers Campus. So so they did this early in like the parks presentation, and that's when I started getting super excited. So it was like the Run Disney thing and San Francisco, and then King Thanos coming to Avengers Campus. So with all that, like, I'm like, oh my God, I can't even imagine what's going to come to Disney World. Right. And then,
and you couldn't have imagined. Right. They also didn't imagine.
That's true.
I just feel like they get everything, because on top of all that, then they have the new characters that are going to be around the park. Like I get that they have the Avengers and that we can't really have the Marvel characters this side of the Mississippi. But they are getting the Hulk in his quantum suit, and that character was enormous and looked very cool. Like Josh D'Amaro is a tall guy, but the Hulk was towering over him. It was very cool. And then they're going to have the Mandalorian and Grogu, which is amazing. So, Gene and Kevin, we haven't heard much from you. What do you think about the new Star Wars, the new Marvel characters going to be out?
For me, I was waiting for you to speak up, Kevin, but just for me, I'd have to get out to California first. But yeah, I mean, it's exciting to know that that's going to be out there for when I make that trip for a Run Disney trip. So, it's Marvel and Star Wars obviously is my favorite, but I'm a big Marvel fan too. So yeah.
So they supposedly brought Boba Fett and Fennec Shand to Hollywood Studios. What happened with Mando and Grogu? Is he not going to the studios?
It's only been announced for Disneyland. Right. And that was my question. Why?
That's such a swing and a miss for that. Is like, if they had Grogu there, that would just be a game changer.
Do you have any ideas why they wouldn't include them at Galaxy's Edge in Hollywood Studios?
No idea. And I mean, it's not that you couldn't find somebody to play that part. I mean, you got a puppet and a guy in a full mask. So
And somehow I got involved in some Facebook groups of people building Mando costumes and Boba Fett costumes. So there's a million people out there with very authentic, screen accurate stuff. And so it couldn't be that hard to find somebody and even find somebody with a costume.
Yeah, call up the 501st, and there's probably 5 people that could do that tomorrow.
Yeah. Because Kevin, didn't you say that during one of the Star Wars races, they had some of those folks from the fan groups come in and actually like be in the race or along the horse?
Every time that I did that race, the 501st, they let them go, but I think the first year they let them in Animal Kingdom, but then after that they told them they had to stay outside of the parks themselves. And some of the best character stops were that group. And that group has actually been used in multiple episodes of Mandalorian and other things. I mean, because they've got such a huge group of people that have screen accurate costumes. That's a quick call. It's like, hey, we need you guys to come show up and do a scene in this episode. And they show up and they've got, 200 people in perfect stormtrooper costumes. It's amazing what they do. And they do a lot of charity work too.
And we can't find one to play Mando. Come on.
It wouldn't take 5 minutes. I mean,
I know that you can't have the Avengers characters in Walt Disney World, but there's nothing that says Star Wars can't be down there. So this is just bias. They don't like us.
And Carly, that's a good point. And not to bring in like a political discussion, but I wonder if some of this is related to the issues between Chapek and DeSantis, and if any of that plays into it, because they've been talking about moving some of their corporate staff out of Florida. So I wonder.
Mando is corporate. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I just wonder if some of that plays into this, right? Some of the political stuff that's been going on between Disney and the community.
Listen, Chapek, we are non-political here. Don't punish us.
Yeah.
Give us the Mando and the Grogu, please.
We want the baby.
I know. Baby Yoda.
That's all.
All right. Well, that's all the negative Disney talk I can handle tonight before we depress Gene, because we know he loves Disney so darn much. So
hard. I love Disney hard. You don't even know.
I know you
so
do.
Hard.
I know you do. You're so knowledgeable about it. All right, we're going to head into a more uplifting segment of the show, Quacking Up with the Ducks. So lay it on us. What do you got? Pick us up. Make us laugh.
Yeah. So, we're talking about all these parks and Shanghai and Paris and all the places and out in Disneyland, and it makes me really excited to go visit all of them. And so I was thinking, gosh, what's the richest type of air there is?
Richest type of air? I don't know.
A millionaire.
Ah.
And that's what you have to be to go visit all these places.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna say something I'll never be if I keep making trips out to California and Orlando.
Also true.
Or you keep having kids, John.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
All right, John, give us a joke.
Okay. So I used to coach my daughter's softball team. I was an infield coach, and it was really fun. I loved it. But the only problem was I had to kick Cinderella off the team because she kept running away from the ball.
Yeah.
All right, Gene, you're up.
You know me, I'm not much of a joke teller. I don't have any jokes, but I did want to share this news with you. Did y'all hear about Mickey? And he drowned. Did you hear? What? It's a good thing. Minnie jumped in and saved him with mouse to mouse resuscitation.
I like it. All right, Kevin.
All right, so I was playing backyard with the kids, throwing frisbee. They're showing me how to throw it. every time I throw it, it just hits the ground. Just couldn't figure it out. And then they were throwing it, and I was wondering, why does that Frisbee keep getting bigger and bigger? Then it just hit me.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, guys, you know what I just thought of? We were talking about Haunted Mansion, and I really think they need to install an elevator there. Do you know why they would need an elevator?
No, why, Carly?
It would really
Please
lift
tell
the
us.
ghost spirits.
Ah,
Nice.
That's a good one. I like
I like that.
You guys
Oh.
always make your jokes into these elaborate stories, and I'm
Me
like,
too.
I start
Ian
to
in
think
particular.
it. I'm imagining Kevin out there getting whacked in the face with a frisbee.
Oh yeah, it's true.
But then I always just have dumb one-liners, so I had to try and work it in there. So
But you need some of those one-liners because those are funny, and you can always keep those in your back pocket for like the dead air in a meeting or in school, and you can throw that
Yes.
out quickly. So it's good to have
Right.
those.
my kids are probably all going to phone you tomorrow and be like, stop telling her that. She tells bad jokes all the time. Yes, I do. All right. Well, we lost Lonnie, but he was also with us here in spirit, just not the same type of spirit. But on behalf of me and all of my co-hosts, thank you for listening so much to this episode. Hopefully we didn't bum you out too much, but definitely comment in the video or on the posting on our socials and let us know what you thought of D23. Again, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Disney with the Ducks, or on Twitter at Disney with the D1. We're even on the TikToks, and you can find us Disney with the Ducks there as well. So for all of us, have a good night. Bye, guys.
Laharini.
Carly, you look especially radiant tonight.
Oh, thanks. I feel like trash.
No, I think we started with, I got a lot of problems with you people, and now you're going to hear about it.
You completely skipped over what Jodie's trying to tell you.
I thought he was just ignoring
I'm sorry
me.
about that.
I thought he was ignoring me too.
I did
Sean.
too.
I was ignoring
Like
both of us.
Lonnie's usually rude, but I mean, not that rude.
Mama.
But
Yeah. Like
Did
Kevin,
Lonnie
I
just
am,
say mama?
Line it up.
the West Coast. All right, I'm out. I got dogs barking in the bottom. I got ones in the lap. Sorry, guys. You guys enjoy it. I'm going to get a drink. I'm out.